Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Glassman's world. So, we are just about to get started here. Let me try to get you a little bit better of an angle here. Oh, it's probably better. Oh, before we get started, we're going to do a quick reveal. So, we just got the kiln on, and these came out of the kiln here. So, we'll start with the first one here that I want to show you. I don't know if this was the first one. This might have actually been the last one that I made last night. But let's take a look at this here. So this is, I believe, the last one, and this is the one where the fuming, we lost some of the fuming, and so I was like, well, we'll just have to pop a hole at the end of that tube and start over. So we have this one ready to go, all flared, and we'll fume the inside of this one here. But this is the last one where you can see we got that fuming going all the way around the edge there. Really nice. You got those real thin lines and strands there. And even the air bubbles are in there. And those came out cool, but they don't have all of the spiral. This is one that I did with the planet, and I thought, man, maybe I should have kept this without the planet, but at the same time, it looks really cool. But look at those spirals in there. That's kind of what I'm really going for, guys. Is those real thin lines like that. So the fuming, that's what it is. It's fuming the inside of the tube and then bringing these around to create these real thin lines like this here. Look at that. That just looks crazy, right? So we'll play with that today. Sorry, excuse me. And yeah, let's get started. We'll do some more techniques like that. And I don't know if I have any actual gold. I was trying to play with that little chunk of gold, but you know, it's not real. It's not really gold. It's like a mixture of other metals and things in it. It's not the cleanest version of it. Oh yeah, I wanted to watch this, but we're just gonna set it up for later here. I wanted to see what they said about that. Alright, so let me get to our video here, and that way I can see if we have any viewers, if we have anyone commenting right now on Saturday morning glassblowing demo. So I'm not really sure what type of demo I want to do. I'm hearing my cats are being crazy right now. I'm gonna go check on them real quick. Alright, these cats are dropping things. They're out of dry food. They still got their wet food. I just fed them. But apparently that's not good enough. I guess. I'm like, okay, I'll go get you some of your kibble here in a sec. Alright. So, we're going to get started with the fuming here. So simply just get this all heated up here. And then we'll bring the silver in and we'll fume the silver inside the tubing. and we'll condense the tubing, and that's where we get those lines. And then you want to kind of coil pot the lines, and that's how you get those spirals and the vortex in there. Alright, I'm going to see if I can get this gold to do anything for me. Is that doing anything? Come on. Get out to the surface. Just trying. Yeah, it's not the right gold. It's got some impurities and things in it, so it's really just not working at all. It almost wants to. I'm being persistent right here, trying to force it to do something. Oh, we're gonna stick it to here. Oh. Are we gonna get any kind of fuming? Probably not. Alright, we're just gonna have to go get some gold, so we're not messing around. I don't know where my piece of gold is. I used to have a really nice piece of gold. Where did I put it? Let me just look real quick. I could have stashed it like off to the side somewhere there. Oh yeah, got that little snowman. Got that piece of silver. Not the gold. I don't think I have any gold. I'm not even gonna worry about it, I guess. Alright, we're just gonna go with the silver then. Alright, sorry about that. You're just watching me make all these little mistakes here and there. Alright, so we'll just get this preheated again. I don't know if we got any kind of fuming on there from that, whatever that metal is. It's supposed to be gold, but it's mixed with other metals and impurities. I don't know what's in there. Nickel, iron, what, like, I don't know. Alright, but let's get the silver. And we'll fume the silver here. Alright, and usually the silver is nice and simple to work with. And we'll just let that shoot up into the tubing. Let's try to get that to go in as deep as possible. So now there's a bunch of fuming in there, so that we're going to condense that, bring it all down, and we're going to basically encapsulate all of that fuming inside there. Hey, what's up, True Indica? Good morning or good evening. You're cooking 2 chickens, huh? And your son is visiting? Well, that is awesome. So you must be in a different part of the world. I'm in the United States, and it's morning time here. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. So, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. So it's Saturday morning here. And usually Saturday morning cartoons, but I'm just doing some Saturday morning glassblowing demos here. And we've been working on these vortex pendants here. Let me show you one. We're getting these spirals in here. And the last 2 that I made, or here's one of them. This one came out with some really, really nice line work in there, all that, those squiggly lines, and so that's what I'm really trying to get. And I figured out doing the fuming technique here, fuming the inside of the tubing and then constricting it down. This is what I was looking for. Ah, welcome from Belgium. I have another individual who watches me from Belgium. He's a glass artist, but he says that they don't have this type of glass, the lamp working. They do more of the furnace work or the soft glass, the offhand work with the furnaces and the glory holes and the metal pipes and things like that. So it's pretty interesting to know that they don't have this sort of glass out there, or there aren't too many lamp workers out in Belgium. We were talking about trying to get my glass out in that region and having that individual becoming a distributor of some of this beautiful lamp work glass. So it's pretty unknown, huh? That's interesting. Yeah, so this is lamp working here, or torch work. This has been around for, I don't know, since like maybe the last 100 years or something like that. Okay, and you get your glass in Holland. Alright, so now we're going to twist this. We'll see if I just do a spiral, what this does. And then we'll flame cut this off. So now this is going to be that spiral. Okay. And then I want to see what happens if I just leave it like this instead of spinning it all around itself all crazy like I have been doing. So we're creating a spiral here. This is going to become the back side of the pendant. That then you'll see all these like squiggly lines and everything, kind of like a black hole, some sort of a vortex within space. So I'm making galaxy glass pendants or center pieces for jewelry, for necklaces. So we got all that spiral in there. I don't know if you can see the spirals in there. And they're really, really nice and tight. That fuming, it creates such a beautiful a technique there that allows it to become super thin. Oh, now I'm thinking something else. Okay. Interesting. I keep thinking of different ways I can lay this down. So one thing that we can do is how we create the vortex is you would normally have your rod, the 16 millimeter rod, I'm melting it down, but you would normally want to have like a point, something very similar to where we're at right now. And you would have that point, and then you would draw like your spiral going around that, and it would then gradually go down to the smaller point here. So I'm thinking maybe if I stretch this and wrap this around, that would look really cool. But I'm gonna put this just on the back side so I can see what it looks like, and then we'll do that on the next one. And we're just going to keep on playing with different ways, different techniques on how I can lay this down to try to get a better vortex or a spiral in there. So I've been blowing glass for 30 years, those of you who don't know. I've become known for specializing in replicating hot air balloons in glass. That's why you see the cards here, and there's some balloons right there. Here, let me move this. A pair of glasses. So I do a lot of ballooning. I crew with the balloon crew every year, and we go out there and we fly. We set up the balloon for the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, which is the largest balloon fiesta in the world, right here in Albuquerque. Ever since I moved here in like 1988, it's been a big part of my life. It's one of those things that my dad was able to share with us when we were little, and I still carry that with me. Alright, trying to snap that off. So we're going to melt this down into the rod here. And then we're just going to flatten it and add some cobalt on the back. And that way we can see how the spiral looks. To just make a real simple vortex or a real simple galaxy glass. So I've gotten known for my hot air balloons. Also, I make some really beautiful, let me see if I can show you here. I make these really beautiful jellyfish that I've also become known for. That one's not the greatest, but it's kind of like that. It looks like a mushroom, but it's got tentacles in there. So I've gotten known for making jellyfish. Like I said, that's not the greatest one. All my good ones are all sold or they're in inventory. So I'm known for the jellyfish. I'm known for the hot air balloons. I used to make these really cool UFO smoking accessory or pipes. I'm known for the original $5 mushrooms. So ever since I started blowing glass, I was taught how to make these simple mushrooms. and I've been able to keep them at the original price of $5 ever since I started in 1995, and I still keep that price to this day, even with all the inflation, all the new U.S. tariffs and everything like that. All right, so now we got that spiral attached to the rod here. And we're just going to round it up some. We're just going to gather it, turn it into a little bit of a marble on the end of the rod here. So Thanksgiving is coming up, guys. Here in the U.S., we celebrate Thanksgiving. It used to be every third Thursday of November, and I don't know what happened, but we're now doing it every fourth Thursday. The fourth Thursday. But it used to be every third Thursday of November, and now it's every fourth. All right, we got that spiral in there. I don't know if you can see the spiral. We're going to flatten that bottom, create a flat back here. So, and it is possible that I might get a phone call, which I may have to answer, and I apologize if I have to do so. There's a holiday bazaar at a spot that I haven't checked out. I went to go and visit it, but I haven't set up there. So I haven't checked it out as a vendor, but I've gone by as a spectator, and it seemed like it had a good flow of traffic the time that I was there. And I think if I was there set up blowing glass, then I would have everyone coming to my booth for sure. I'd have people driving by, and they'd want to pull over and come check it out. I don't know if I can set up my torch today. I was really hoping to do so, but no one's contacted me. I left my information there, let them know that I was interested, and I haven't received any information, any call or nothing. So I left them a message again today, and they might call me back. So we'll see. All right, right now I'm just getting this cobalt cleaned up on the tip. And then we're going to melt it to the flat back of this here, and we'll see how this vortex looks. So it's Saturday. A lot of people are already doing their Black Friday specials, deals, sales. And so yesterday I announced that all my glass is now buy one, get one free until 2026. So until the New Year's, all my glass that I have in inventory that does not include any custom work, but all of my all glass in inventory is now buy one get one free. And I have some amazing deals. Like I said, I've got the $5 mushrooms. You get 2 for $5 for Christmas. Oops. Well, that piece broke. So those of you who know, I've got an issue with my right shoulder and a pinched nerve or something going on. And if I sleep on it wrong, it really messes with it. I think the last few nights I've kind of slept on it wrong. and it's really been messing with me. And I've been getting my fingers are going numb right away. So I'm trying to stretch out my right arm. I'm using my left. One thing that I've learned to do is become ambidextrous and be able to swap out your right arm, left arm, so I can spin glass in both arms, which is very helpful, especially with having to deal with the numbness in my fingers. And it's really just when I have my hands lifted up for quite some time. There's something up in my shoulder, my rotator there. It's just something pinches and my whole hand starts going numb. It starts with the pinky finger and then works its way through to the ring, then the middle, then the index, and gets the thumb as well. And something I deal with every day. The constant. When you lose your feeling like that, it's so weird. Like, sometimes you'll sit on your legs for too long or whatever. You're sitting on a chair and you're pinching like the back side of your leg, and then your leg goes to sleep and you get up and it feels all weird. That's how it is when I'm blowing glass every day. If I get that pinched nerve and I can't stretch it out, my fingers go numb, and it's horrible to try to work with that all the time. I really wish I could afford some physical therapy or find someone. I used to have a therapist who would trade me for glass work way back in the day, and that was so awesome. Her name was Cheryl, and she did this really crazy Swedish massage, a deep tissue massage that would leave you sore for like a day or two. And then by like that third day, then it just like opened up everything, and you're like, oh my God, it just all felt good. So that was awesome to be able to trade a long time ago and do that. Be nice to find someone else who'd be willing to do something like that, do some trades. And I'm a domestic helper as well, so I can do like yard work and house cleaning and organizing, and I do caregiving and different things like that. So I can also trade that sort of work too. All right, we're gonna see how this spiral looks. Now I'm thinking it'd be cool to get some dichroic going in some of these and get some sparkle glass all spun around in there. That might be kind of fun. So these are going to just keep on evolving and getting better and better and better. I'm learning that this fuming is really what I was going for. That fuming technique, getting that line nice and thin in there, that's what I'm really going for. I don't know if you're still here, True Indica, but thank you for tuning in and coming in and chatting for a moment. It's interesting. I got like someone, Pro Cannabis Warrior, who comes in. I got True Indica that comes in. I have someone from, I forget where, I think either Santa Fe or Denver in Colorado. And their name is 420. I'm like, all right. I'm bringing in all the green heads here, huh? We should have a little session here. I'll burn one down. Do you know that song? 'Cause I'm gonna burn one down. Yes, we're all gonna burn one down. By Ben Harper. It's a good song. I can cover that song on my guitar. You can sing it and perform it all the way through. I can't play the drum and the guitar though at the same time. That would be cool. Boom 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 boom. Let us burn one from end to end. Pass it over to me, my friend. Burn it long and burn it slow. Light me up before I go. If you don't like my fire, then don't come around. 'Cause I'm gonna burn one down. Yes, we're all gonna burn one down. Alright, so we got this spiral in here. Just put that spiral in, no planet, no nothing in there. I kind of wanted to just see what this looks like when you just spiral it down and then allow it to mash. What kind of vortex do we really get there? Now it looks like a cool little galaxy nebula all happening, right? I need to purposefully get some air bubbles back behind all that. And then, like, it looks cool, and then it's like, it's a little bit washed out, but then you can see some of that detail line in there. So I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not that technique and that style. But it looks cool, and someone may love it and want it. And at buy one, get one free right now, you can get these basically for $10. These are only $20. You get buy one, get one free. Usually I do buy one for 22 for 30. But I'm giving it away for Christmas. Alright, we'll set this here. Figured out where I want the top to be, where I want the bottom. We get both pieces molten. Bring them together. Try to get that cobalt blue on the back side so it touches the bat. Push it on, pull it off. Heat up the rod. Now I do this, I don't know if you guys have seen this technique, but a lot of times people pop their puntee off, reset it to the bottom of the pendant, then do the loop. I kind of just tend to make the loop sideways. And I mean, this does create the possibilities for laying it down crooked, so I got to be really, really careful on how I lay this down. If you bring it all the way around. And we get the reamer, push this right on the bottom. So I don't know if I'm going to be vending today or not. I know some of my friends are going to be down at a spot called Bessie's. They've been setting up there every Saturday. I thought about it. I don't know. I'm also thinking, well, this is going to be like one of those weekends before all the hype, before Thanksgiving. I may need to use this weekend to just get things cleaned up and prepared. Get the table ready so we can bake some pies. There's a lot of clutter. It's basically just full of food. We got too much food in our house. So we got to figure out what's on that countertop. A lot of like chip bags and snacks and a lot of different things, random stuff too. So we'll go through all that. We just got the turkey, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday I picked it up in the morning. So that's, I left it out for a little bit in the day to kind of get it started with the defrost, and then put it in the fridge. Because you're supposed to defrost it like for days and days and days. I'm like, man, when it's as big as like, it's pretty close to a 20-pound bird. So it's going to take like 5 to 6 days to completely thaw out in the refrigerator. So we'll see how it's doing on that like second to last day. So by like Tuesday, we'll check it out and see where it's at. And I simply just put it in a big old of a clean trash bag. So that way if there's any like juice or brine or any kind of anything that when it defrosts, I don't want it to drip everywhere in the refrigerator. So we got it in a bag to keep that from getting messy. All right, there's a finished piece right there, guys. And it came out decent. Like I said, I mean, you can see the patterns in there. And when it cools down, it looks a little bit better. You can see a little bit more of the line work and the detail. But yeah, we're just playing with this and seeing what we can really do with this pattern and these techniques here. Alright, so okay, so we start with the silver fumed tubing here. And are you guys even, I don't even think you guys have a really good view here. Let me switch this view, make it a little bit better, guys. Sorry about that. You guys can't see anything on what's really going on. There, I think that's better. And you can see the pad in the back, and yeah, I think that's better. Alright, so like I said, this one, what we're going to do is wrap it around the tip of one of these. So let's see if I have one ready. Nice. This one's nice and rounded, all ready to go for that vortex kind of shaping there. So we'll get that preheated. We'll get this nice and molten, and we're going to just start stretching it around. We'll see what we can do here. That's going to be interesting. Like, which way do we go? This way, this way? Alright, so you're just going to grab it and just spiral it around itself. Like that. And I don't know if I actually trapped air bubble in there or not. That's interesting. I might have really messed that one up. Alright, well, we got some lines going around it. I don't know if it's exactly how I wanted it to get laid down. I'm kind of not liking it. But we'll see what it does. It might be awesome. I might love it. But also when I laid it down, I may have accidentally trapped some air bubbles in it. So we'll see. So you guys getting ready for the holidays? I don't know if Thanksgiving is, I believe that's a U.S. holiday. I don't know if that's something that's celebrated around the world. I don't believe it is. But next week on Thursday, or everyone usually cooks a whole bunch of Thanksgiving meals, different side dishes and things. So usually you'll have bake a turkey or roast a turkey. Some people will do a ham. They do like a honey glazed ham, things like that. Um, then you have like mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing. A lot of people will make the green bean casserole, which is green beans mixed with a can of cream of mushroom. And then you mix that together, put it in a casserole dish, top it with some of the French's crispy onions. Cranberry sauce, pumpkin pies, and then here in New Mexico, we actually have our own different traditional ways where a lot of people, we do like red and green chile. So we bake enchiladas, you know, we'll do tamales, enchiladas, red chili, beans and rice, completely different. And so what I love to do is I like to get the red chile, make some red chile, and then top it off on top of all the traditional Thanksgiving dinner. So then I just smother the red chile on top of all the turkey, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes. I don't know if I add gravy. I don't think I add gravy when I do the red chile. So I don't know what this one's gonna look like. These are all just experiments, guys. Like I said, this is pretty much just a demo. It's just me just melting glass here. We're just having fun, just playing. Very soon, we're gonna get into the holiday spirits and be making a lot of Christmas ornaments and different items. I do need to get some tubing so I can make Christmas ornaments. Ah, my fingers keep going numb. It happened again right there. I gotta really work on this. I need a therapist. I need a massage therapist. I need someone who can really work on the nerves or whatever it is. There's something just pinched, something out of place, something just not right in my right shoulder. So if you're local and you want to do any sort of trades or anything like that, let me know. I'd come and work for you, and you can work on me and rehab me back to where I can start making some of those UFO pipes and a bunch of other cool stuff that I used to make. It's why I don't do larger items nowadays, is because of my arm. Some of those items, I'll be spinning for like an hour, and there's no way I'll be able to get through it these days. Or I'll have to do a lot of spinning with the left hand. Alright, so then we just get this all melted down. We'll get rid of that line, that ridge around the rim there. We'll get this all molten and blowing together as one piece of glass. So we just sit here and be patient, let the torch do all the work. Just sit here and melt, melt, melt. So if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving in your neck of the woods, what sort of celebrations do you guys do in your country and in your part of the world? Do you have Thanksgiving is kind of like a harvest tradition, you know, where we're basically celebrating the harvest season and everyone's bringing in the foods together. But it also has to do with the story of, you know, the pilgrims and the Indians coming over here, and you know, they created a beautiful story of that. But the reality of it is that it was actually a massacre, and it was pretty horrendous on what the Spaniards, what my ancestors did to the natives here. Which also I'm also Mexican, so part of my family is Mexican and native to this land, and then also descendants from Spanish descent, and part of the Spaniards that took over and colonized the world too. So it's kind of interesting to be on both sides of the spectrum. It's interesting to be both sides of that spectrum, because then I get hate on all sides, I guess. And then I was born in Cali, so I'm a Cali boy, born and raised, a little skater punk kid. I started skating when I was about 11 years old, I think. I was like in sixth grade. I was like fifth grade going on sixth grade in that summertime. And that's when I moved. Me and my brother moved well, I first moved with my dad. I didn't want to live with him. You know, my whole life growing up, didn't want to live with him. Things happened in our past and stuff. And when I was with my mom, we became homeless, and that was really rough and brutal. And so my brother and I had to go live with our dad. I went there first. My brother stayed with our mom for a little while. But then around when I think it was when I was 11 years old, around that time, I got my first skateboard. There was a there was a girl who lived next door to us. She was in high school. We were just in elementary school, right? And her boyfriend was a skater, and I remember he would come by and he would like talk to us and things. I don't know, he was pretty cool. And he actually gave us our very first decks. I remember he gave me the rip, the bones pal rip board, which is the skeleton coming out, ripping through. I remember my stepbrother got a Christian Hosoi hammerhead skateboard. That was pretty cool. So before that, we had some silly little action sports skates, which came from like Kmart or something. I think my dad bought us those for Christmas, and the bearings sucked, the wheels sucked, they were heavy as crap. It was just the worst skateboards, but it was something to learn on, right? And then we moved up right away. And I think what we did is we probably just had the decks given to us, and we took all of our action sports, the action trucks and the wheels and everything, we just moved them onto the newer skate decks. So I was probably skating a POW rip with some crappy trucks and wheels and bearings and everything. That's funny to think about. And then we got into it. Then, Pipeline in Upland, California. We were really close. I grew up in California there, Southern California. And when I moved in with my dad, we were really close to Upland that we could just skate there. He was skating Upland, Claremont, Montclair. Um, what else was near there? Foothills. Uh, I don't know if we'd go all the way to. We probably didn't go all the way to Fontana, but it was close. We weren't too far away. Rancho Cucamonga, we weren't that far away. We would skate all the way up to Mount Baldy. There used to be or I don't know about used to, there still is, this big old full pipe that's legendary. All the skaters would go to it. Probably still do. Man, I wonder if there's any recent videos of Baldy Pipe. Any skaters out there? We got the infamous Indian School ditch here. Tony Hawk made that one pretty famous. But we've been skating it since 1998 when I first moved out here. I remember when we came from California to Albuquerque, and my dad drove us around the different parts of the town. I don't know if we were looking for homes or what we were doing driving around. Maybe he was showing us around or something, but anytime we'd be in different parts of the city, there'd be all these, it's like concrete heaven, man. Just all these ditches, all these washes that were cemented down perfectly with nice little transitions on the bottoms. So it wasn't like just a flat wall-to-wall kind of thing. Like they actually rounded them on the bottoms, and it was like they made them perfectly for skateboarding or something. And so, yeah, Albuquerque is on the map for skaters because of the Indian School ditch. And when we were kids, we lived right off of Indian School. And Moon, which was by the snow park. And basically we'd walk, around the corner from where we lived to Snow Park, and that ditch would open up in the middle of the park there. I do believe there was some places that was a filming location for either Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, and they were at a park with a bridge, and I don't remember what happened in that scene. But yeah, that bridge is right there, and a lot of skaters. Maybe they had skaters in that scene? I don't know. Maybe there were some skateboarders there skating in the ditch. But yeah, we'd skate from there. There's a bike path that goes all along the whole ditch, all the way up to the mountains. And we would just follow that. We'd skate in the ditch, and we'd stay off the bike path and just skate all the way up. And we'd go to the mountains. We'd chill in the mountains for a while, go hiking for a little bit or whatever. And then we'd find the opening of the ditch way up top right there, and we'd start skating all the way down. I remember in California when we went all the way up to Mount Baldy, we went from Montclair. There was like a nature preserve or something there, and all the ditches, all the washes would come up to that spot. I don't really know what that spot was. It was some sort of where like the water would just run off to or something, kind of like a marshlands. Trying to think exactly where that was. But that was in Montclair, and there was a ditch right there by the nature. We called it Nature Park Wash, and we would skate from Nature Park all the way up to Mount Baldy, which was far on a skateboard. As kids, we traveled miles. I don't know how many miles. We're talking like maybe 20, 30 miles. It was far. And then on the way down, it's just nothing but downhill. And I remember we would just sit on the boards and we would just coast all the way down. And you have to be careful on some spots where the big cracks were and things. But man, that was a lot of fun. Good memories. Being able to skate uh, the pipeline in Upland, California, that's some amazing memories right there. Being able to see some pro skaters come through all the time there, watch them skate. Probably getting photos for like Thrasher Magazine, Transworld Magazine, things like that. And we were just a bunch of little punk kids, you know, just 13. I was only like 13 years old around that time. I think I started skating when I was 11. By the time we found out about Upland and stuff, it had to have been like a year or two later. Because I was in 6th grade. By the time 7th grade had hit, we were already moving out here. So yeah, it was, dang, I got into skateboarding pretty strong in 1 year. This one's weird looking. I don't really like it. We'll still make it. We'll still finish it. We'll complete it here. But I don't like this one. Just from the beginning, as soon as I laid it down, I was like, it didn't lay down properly. But we'll just go with it. We'll see how it looks. That way we know what that technique actually does. But I have a far better idea on how to get it to spiral around. Alright, then I just condensed all that loop, the thinner part on that back side there, and we just melt it down, get it to thicken up, and the hole's going to get smaller, so we got to make sure that hole doesn't collapse on us. So that's why you got to have the reamer already, always handy and ready to go. Make sure that that's getting straightened out nicely in all directions. Look at it from the front angle, make sure it's not crooked, leaning to one way or another. Alright, and that's what this looks like here. And it looks cool. It's not what I was going for. But it's cool. Someone's going to like it. Someone's going to like all those air bubbles in there. You just snap it off. This torch is heavy duty, so you can snap it off. There's some torches you can't do that, like the GTT, the glass torch technology torches. The GTTs are all made of aluminum, which helps to keep it cool. If I touch this, I'd burn my hand. If you touch your GTT, it would be kind of cool to the touch, or just warm, you know. So recently I locked down a new location for us on Sundays, which That's where I'll be at tomorrow. I might then today. It looks like a beautiful day. I don't know how cold it is, but it is beautiful. Clear sky outside. Beautiful blue skies. They say we might have a chance of rain tomorrow. So it might be good to try to go set up today. But if I don't have permission to go to that one location, which is the Beehive on Eubank and Manal, here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, if I don't have permission to set up there, I don't know where else I could go. I could maybe go and meet up with my friends down at Bessie's, but they're probably already there and set up. This spot is from noon till 5, so I figured in the middle of the day, the traffic will be flowing through. It should be a good time, good location, good spot for that. All right, we're gonna just stretch this out here. I didn't really like the way that wrapped around itself. That was kind of interesting. Let me see if we can. Well, I want to try to wrap it like a vortex, but I don't want to have it do what it just did, where it didn't really spiral out too well. So what I might do is we might start with the spiral on the bottom, or on the tip of this here, and then bring it back up and around. We'll see what that does. Just grab that in the center, start to spin it. Maybe just do a little bit. Not too much, keep it open. So this one's kind of like that first one we did, but not as much color. The lines are a lot looser. We got some air bubbling in there that's going to help with creating, almost looks like stars, I guess, when you add that cobalt blue backing on here. We'll give it a nice front lens. So we'll get this clear glass all melted and prepared towards the front of it here, which is actually down the rod. The tip of it will be the back side of it. And down the rod is going to be the front of the pendant here. So we're just going to add some clear glass to the front there. We just kind of marble it up, just like that. Uh-oh, is this thing... Okay. I see what's happening. This thing just keeps on shifting on us. We've lost the swivel. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't even realize it was just slowly just moving down on us. I didn't know. Alright, so now we'll get the tip of this molten, we'll flatten it. This has a nice little spiral on the front, not too busy. Less is more. A lot of times, less is more. And we'll add the cobalt. I think the more I work, the more my arm it's getting worked through this, to where I'm not getting the numbness in my fingers as much as I was before. But we'll see here, holding this cobalt glass for a minute, we'll see if my fingers go numb. I can feel it pinching up in my, what is that, the deltoid? Right where the shoulder and the arm meet. There's something in there that's pinching. I can definitely feel it. Alright, we'll add that cobalt in the back, push it on, get it to spread out to the edges as evenly as possible, directing it to move over to one side or the other if I see that it needs more of a push on one side or the other. Flame cut it. Get the paddle ready. And I don't know if I have the chat on here today or not. Should be. Oh. Do live chat here. And then we'll just flatten this here. And sorry about that. I don't even know how long the camera angle just like moved into that spot where you couldn't really even see anything going on. I am so sorry about that. What a horrible demonstration. Like, let me just block it. Here, don't watch what I'm doing. Just kidding. I'm feeling that my wife and my son's going to be waking up here any moment. I'm going to have to start doing some breakfast. So this may be the last one that I work on. It might be one more. These don't take me too long, so if they do wake up, they won't have to wait too long for me to get some food going. It would be so nice if I could just stay on the torch and work, and my wife could just make us breakfast for the family, but with her health and her disabilities, it's hard for her to do, so I'm going to have to jump off the torch here and get some breakfast going for our family here. Alright, and we'll get this cut off here. Attach the punchy to hold on to the pendant when we cut this off the rod here. And then that punchy should snap off real simple because we're just doing like a quick tack weld. We're not fusing it or melting them together. We're just getting the punchy molten to attach it. So it kind of just gets sticky enough to hold on to it, but it's not really fused together. So it'll snap off. And if I don't hold it properly, like right now, I could accidentally snap it off of the punchy. So I gotta hold it real delicate and gentle. Make sure I'm not just, you know, shaking it or anything, because it could fall off at this point. When I'm pulling the glass here, I'm making sure I'm pulling away and not pulling down or creating any sort of angles, using the heat from the flame so it stretches out without me like pulling it off the punchy. I don't want to keep pulling if it hardens or solidifies. I only pull when it's molten, and that glass becomes like taffy basically. Oh yeah, that vortex came out pretty nice. I do like that. So this one was just a little bit shorter of a piece of that fuming. So maybe, like I said, less is more. So using a little bit less and spiraling it just on the tip, it allows it to open it up like this and not become cluttered like that first one where it was just so much spiral behind itself that it just looked like a solid piece of color. Here you'll be able to see the thin lines and the detail. Alright, let me show you. So it's all nice and round in the front now. And then you can see how that vortex spirals. Got that nice thin line in there. And it could have been a little bit tighter, but they all come out a little bit different, and that looks cool. Someone may want a less tighter of a spiral to wear. Someone may love that one compared to a different one. So we've learned different techniques on how to lay down the snow white, or sorry, the ghost white, and then spiraling it. Doing the fuming, I really like the way that the fuming lines are coming out super thin. I do like that a lot. Alright, we're just going to attach this cobalt to the top here on what I'm deeming as the top. Push it on, pull it off. Start heating up the thicker end of that as you're slowly pulling it and shaping it, pulling it in the direction you need it to fall. Bring it around, create that loop, melt it to where when you attach it, it just melts on. That becomes fused together. And you just flatten that directly to the back side. Heat up both sides of the glass where it's attached to get it to flow with the front part of the loop. Make sure it's all nice and straight in all angles and directions. Heat it up, get it nice and thick. Put that loop in, or sorry, the reamer in the loop. Make sure it's straight. I see it's leaning over slightly to one side. I'm going to force the reamer into that one side. I see it was kind of leaning. There we go. And that looks nice and straight now. The loop is nice and thick. Nice and straight looking at it this angle. Then we just get our tweezers here, preheat them so you don't crack the loop. You don't want to shock the glass, having cold tools touching hot glass. You just preheat it real quick, get it warm. Always make sure you clean up your puntee marks so you don't have any jagged glass, any sharp glass. From when you snap it off, there might be little jagged pieces of glass there. So you just want to smooth that down, fire polish it, and that's a done piece there. And there's the spiral coming in. All right. So we got a few events coming up. Today we might be doing one. Tomorrow is our Curious Sunday market, which we just recently got a new location for Sundays. And so we're now doing a market in downtown Albuquerque, which is awesome. But it's no longer Nob Hill. So we're still looking for a location for our Nob Hill events, because we have the state fair coming up. We have next year will be the state fair parade, but coming up is a Twinkle Light parade, which is for Christmas, our holiday. Santa Claus will be coming through, and so Oh my gosh, this chair is bugging me. So yeah, we'll have Santa coming through. And we normally set up. I've been setting up at the Twinkle Light Parade ever since about 1997 when I first started doing live demonstrations in the public. Um, I've had many different friends who have been business owners throughout the years and have had different shops open up in the Nob Hill area along where they do the Twinkle Light Parade. So for decades now, I've been set up there. I thought we were going to be there for a while at our location at Solano and Central with our last host. And I don't know, something happened. Abruptly, they decided to shut down the market. And then we found out that they actually shut down their business too. So I guess they weren't doing too well. And they were just trying to keep the market floating and keeping things going. But it was just too much. You know, it was costing too much. It wasn't worth the time, energy, and effort in order to keep their shop open. And, you know, that could be just other reasons why, you know, not having a good business plan, not knowing which direction you're going and getting things started before actually like knowing where you want to go with things. So it was kind of like a, you know, a fly-by-night operation, and things kept changing on what was happening inside the shop. But the market was always a constant thing on what we were doing, and we were always there, constantly there. And when that shut down on us, we lost our location for the Twinkle Light Parade, the Nob Hill Shop and Strolls. What else do they have? And then the State Fair Parade. So there's several different events that we no longer have access to unless I can lock down a new location for us there as well. Because the Twinkle Light Parade and the Shop and Strolls and the Summerfest, oh yeah, Summerfest too, Nob Hill Summerfest. Those are all events that happen on a Saturday and also like in the evening times. So it wouldn't interfere with our Sunday markets that we have. All right, so we're gonna just spiral this little last bit of the fume here, and then this one is probably gonna be the last one that I'm gonna work on today, guys. And that way I can see what's going on with that market. Are we gonna do the market or not? All right, we'll get that on the tip there. Spiral that. Alright, let's see what this does. I went down and I went back up, so it's gonna, we'll see what kind of pattern that does. That might be all over the place. And then again, it might look really cool and the lines might be super thin, and it's like, how do you get those lines in there? I've seen some marbles where the lines were just so thin and intricate, and I was like, you know, that's probably the fuming inside the tubing. And once I did that, I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I've been looking for. But I just wanted to play with some other techniques and see how all those work. Oh yeah, so that's kind of wispy, but not so much. I'm wondering, should I add a little bit more on the back side of it? Just to give it a little bit more. Like what happens when you add two on top of each other? Uh-oh, also, do I have any more fuming in here? Alright, well, add a little bit more of a spiral to the back of it, and we'll just try to give it a little bit more detail. I don't know what that's going to do. I don't know if there's enough fuming in there to really see what's happening. So then we just melt this down, and then we'll flatten it. We'll get the cobalt on the back. No opals in these ones. I think I just heard the school bells ringing. Like, do they ring on a Saturday? That's interesting. Alright, so these lines are really, really thin and wispy. The design is barely going to be there. But we'll go through with it. We'll see. Because sometimes it looks really cool when they're like that. Alright, then I just flatten that down. Add the cobalt on the back. And I'm sorry about that angle. I thought we had the perfect angle earlier, and it just like kept falling and sliding down, I guess. Didn't even realize you guys were just slipping. Technical difficulties, huh? Sometimes we run into those things. Yeah, I think I'm getting obsessed with these galaxy glass. There's like so many other pieces of glass that I could be working on right now. And I'm really just like, I want to get this spiral in here to really, really be what I'm looking for. I've got some spirals that I like, but I'm looking for like this crazy, I don't know, like a chaos of strings just all over inside there. There's like thin filament of fume, basically. Alright, my shoulder's pinching, my arm's going numb again. I'm always feeling it down in my, like the side of my arm by my biceps and triceps. Going right down in between both of them on the side. I don't know if there's something in there that I gotta work. I don't know if I can work it while I'm blowing glass. Trying to massage myself right now, see where that pinch is. Maybe I can find it. I don't know. I don't think it's a torn muscle or anything. I think it's just the nerve, pinched nerve. Alright, so we just let the torch do the work here again. Get this all molten. And we'll use the paddle to help flatten it down. Allow it to spread out to the edge of that clear glass there. And then we'll get rid of the rim, that little indentation between the two pieces of glass. We'll fuse those together as one. melting glass, it takes the longest out of everything. We can draw lines and put patterns and things into the glass pretty quickly, fairly quickly, but when it comes down to melting it all back down and getting it smooth, this is what takes the longest when it comes to glass blowing. This is what really takes the patience. This is what really separates those who are passionate and love that they have this artistic talent, and or they were able to learn how to do this to become artistically talented and creative. And then there's some who just, they don't have the patience, they don't have the endurance to be able to hold up and do this. To hold glass, try to hold your shoulders up in front of you for a while, because that's all we're doing is we're holding our arms up constantly. We're constantly just got our arms up, you know. So just try that, and then hold some weight into your arm, into your hands, and then see how long you can hold something up in front of you. And that's what separates those who are passionate about it versus those who just, they thought they were going to get into it to make a quick buck. They're like, dang, you guys make how much money doing this? Like, yeah, but it's taken how much time and how many years of experience to be able to get here too. All right, let me just flame cut the front here. Sorry, I was just like in thought right there, and I went quiet on you guys. I was thinking about my camping equipment that I got above here. Am I ever going to use it? Am I ever going camping ever again? I don't want to just get rid of it. At the same time, it's taking up way too much space. There's too much clutter around me. I just feel like I'm so overwhelmed with clutter. I'm holding on to things that I thought I was going to use. I thought I was going to do some things like go camping and stuff, but it turns out that, you know, my daughter doesn't really like camping. My wife probably can't comfortably go camping. I don't know how she'd be able to sleep on the ground in a tent in a sleeping bag. You know, camping for her would be like, you'd have to get an RV with beds, I think, at this point, which isn't camping to me. But I don't know, like, it's always like those ideas, like, yeah, like, she would love to go camping. I want to hold on to the equipment, but are we ever really going to go? And then, am I ever going to go on my own by myself? Like, usually you want to like go with your family or go with friends and stuff. I don't know if I should hold on to this equipment anymore. I got a bunch of camping equipment, camping gear. I used to live off grid and be all about survival and things, and now I'm just like, am I ever going to use it? It's just sitting there deteriorating away, not being used. Someone else could utilize it. We've got several tents, several sleeping bags, other equipment, so much stuff. Alright, well, I'm going to finish this up here. We're going to get the loop on, and then I'm going to let y'all go. This is kind of a cool spiral on here, sorta. I'm glad I put that spiral in the back on the center of it, because I think that's what I'm seeing here now. Oh, and then I think of another technique. I'm like, well, what if we use the fuming as like we did with the Ghost White and draw 4 lines of it down, then spiral those. Those lines would be super thin, actually. Wow. I'll do that later. I don't think I'm going to do that now. I got to actually go get ready. I'm going to wash some dishes, get some breakfast going. And then maybe I'll be setting up at noon. I will try to call them again, see if anyone answers and find out if it's okay to set up. I don't know if I have any other vendors that want to come and join me. I was hoping to have the answers by last night. So we'll see. But I was going to invite some of our Curious Market vendors to join me there. It's only $20 to set up. And sometimes that's hard to be able to, you know, if you're going to invest 20 bucks in something, you want to at least triple your value, maybe quintuple it. You know, so you want to at least make $60 to $100 off of that 20 bucks. And sometimes it's hard to even pull that kind of sales. But with Christmas coming up, these are the type of things that really do sell, and especially Christmas ornaments. I really do need to make a lot of Christmas ornaments. Alright, we'll get this loop put on top here, or what I am deeming as the top of this pendant. Push it on, pull it off, start to melt it so you can start to gradually pull from all that thick spot there. And pull it, start to bend it, shaping it around. Bringing it back to itself. Get the reamer, push the color down onto the back of it, help to set it up where it needs to go, melt them down on both sides, get the back and the sides, start hitting the sides of the loop, get it to thicken up, and round it up, make sure it's straight, and that is a done pendant right there. Boom. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go get some breakfast going. And we may come back later. If I don't go set up today, I might just be blowing glass all day and hanging out with the family and also getting prepared for Thanksgiving. I really do need to clean out the fridge, clean out the tabletop there so we can be ready to make some pies and things like that. We do need to figure out what we have in the fridge and what I can make room for, because we are about to have a ton of leftovers and we need to get all that food out. I need to make sandwiches. Maybe I'll make some sandwiches and just give them away to some homeless individuals, because I don't know if I can eat all that sandwich meat by myself. And apparently my wife isn't into sandwiches, so no more sandwiches. So I will, I'll see you guys later. Not sure what's going to happen, but if we are going to the event, I will go live from there and show you guys around. It's a really cool spot, the Beehive. It's huge. It's more like an indoor flea market, with a bunch of people's like used stuff, but they have vendors with brand new items and things. I don't know if they have too many artists there yet, such as myself, who makes their own items. There's a lot of like resale kind of things, but there are vendors who have brand new items and stuff, and a lot of vintage clothing, a lot of old DVDs, a lot of jeans, pants, a lot of like artwork, a lot of stuff, tools, all kinds of stuff, guys. You really got to go check it out. If I'm there today, I'll go live. We'll do a walkthrough, and I'll show you guys about what the beehive's all about. All right, thanks for watching. Love and blessings. You guys have a beautiful day. I'm out.